Today on the Topping Show, Bud Light releases a ridiculous ad on Twitter and fails epically. NHL to cancel Pride jerseys next year. Hunter Biden gets a plea deal with no jail time. You have the U.S. Navy knowing that the submarine was sunk days before actually telling the public. Disney fires their chief diversity officer. Target pushing for next day delivery. SpaceX now valued at $150 billion. Mazda going to bring back the rotary engine. Ford is prepping for major layoffs, and Honda recalls over 1 million vehicles. All that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder released twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, need a little assistance, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Other interesting cultural news, you have Bud Light again putting out an advertisement on Twitter and immediately getting ratioed 3 times in a row. Most people say third time is a charm. In this case, I don't know, 3 bottles of piss water is bad. There's a good metaphor in there. I don't have writers. I do this all myself, clearly. Now, this is a advertisement that they put on Twitter, and Bud Light had 2 women carrying a keg, which, again, is unrealistic and ridiculous. They're carrying it down a street. Now, it's as dumb as it sounds. Well, no, I digress. I don't digress. I proceed forward. It's dumber than it sounds. So you have, I don't know if they're an interracial couple, but it's a white gal and an African-American woman, and they're carrying a keg on rocks with no shoes. That's perhaps 1/10 of the pain you would feel if you were to step on Legos. It's that bad. So these ladies are carrying a keg, which they're not bodybuilders. I don't think they have the physical fortitude or capability to do that. A keg is quite heavy when filled, even if it's Bud Light and it's light. Wow, there's some joke. There's probably some joke about it being too light to weigh anything. Time shall tell if we get any laughs from this. Let me know in the comments. But these 2 gals were carrying the Bud Light without shoes on rocks. And even more ridiculous, they have, maybe it was a cliche, but they had an average Bud Light drinker in the background, or a previous Bud Light drinker, and it was a white guy with a big beer belly, and he was just standing, like, leaning against a building, and he didn't do anything. So that's perhaps the most unrealistic advertisement I've ever seen in my life. And hilariously enough, none of these ads actually show them drinking the product, perhaps for health. It might be for health purposes. They don't want people dying on set or, not suffocating, destroying taste buds. Like, I don't know how good of an ad it would be to go, but I digress. So you have these ridiculous ads, and of course it's going to get immediately ratioed beyond all belief. Now, that video, within about 12 hours being released, had 134,000 views and 209 likes. That's it. 209 likes on 134,000 views. I wish every view was $1. I can get a teleprompter with that kind of cash. Right now I just use monitors, but they're static. I digress. Now, the most entertaining responses to that were the hidden responses, where most of them are too vulgar for me to actually share on YouTube. Another reason I'll start posting these on Rumble. But the response that was copy and pasted like 25 times was the meme in which you had a young gentleman standing over a grave with a little peace sign. Someone did a little Photoshop where it was Alyssa Heiderchild, still the current VP of marketing, who said the brand was fratty. She was also drinking beer off a condom in college. And she was the one who brilliantly thought of the idea to hire Dylan Mulvaney as a brand ambassador. She will be remembered. So you have a picture of her face poorly, hilariously photoshopped, and this guy doing a peace sign above a grave, and the gravestone was Anheuser-Busch, and it said, the date, their inception date since this year. And there weren't just 2 of those. There weren't 3 people that posted that image. There's about 20 to 30 people posting it. And that, if you go to the hidden responses, the first walls of scrolls are all that image. And he also said something about Bud Light. They still haven't fired her. Still. This is the worst brand business blunder in history. Nothing's been this bad before. New Coke some would say it made them stronger because they had the new product. Within a month, they released the classic Coke. And now, to this day, every Coca-Cola you see at the store is a classic Coke. And they actually surpassed Pepsi, I believe, with that initiative. Or they did even better. And of course, Coke is still around to this day. It's still a staple of many people's diets, which, not a good thing. But that was a big business blunder at the time. Nothing has been this bad. And yet they still won't fire her. Still. And they still won't address the issue. So it'll be interesting. It might be a battle of wills. How many people have time to respond to each one of their Bud Light advertisements they put on Twitter versus how much content can Bud Light spew out like a piss beer coming out of a bottle or something like that. It's going to be a war of the minds. They're also starting to ban people in the comments. So even if it's not too pejorative, you're seeing people having their comments deleted on Twitter when they respond to these videos that they're putting out. And I wonder how many videos it will take or how long it'll take, or if ever you'll start to see some positive comments about the product. I saw one, and I scrolled through the comments for about 3 to 4 minutes. So I saw probably about 100 comments. And there's one person who said like they just applied to a job there and they were asking for help to get connected to the hiring manager, something like that. Every other comment literally was talking smack about Bud Light and their business blunder and how they still haven't fired her. I mean, this is the business blunder of the century. I should probably maybe mail them a little trophy or something. But again, in terms of the cultural phenomenon of this particular boycott, which historically is unprecedented, it's interesting to see there's still momentum and their sales are still decreasing. People thought they bottomed out. They haven't. And from a business perspective and cultural perspective, that is fascinating. We'll see how bad it really can get. I suspect you have the 4th of July coming around the corner, which some Americans still, like myself, still probably celebrate. That's going to be a big ding in their sales. They're coming out with these programs saying, oh yeah, we're going to give away $10,000 a week to fans. We're going to have multiple opportunities to win it. Sometimes you can't just throw money at a problem to make it go away. It almost reminds you of like a crappy relationship where someone wants to they made a mistake. Instead of apologizing, they just give their spouse like a shiny diamond. You can't buy someone's love. You can't buy someone's loyalty. It's insulting, I would say, to do that. But that's just my 3 cents. It used to be 2 cents, but 40-year hyperinflation has gotten out of hand, unfortunately. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Cannot thank you enough. I really appreciate it if you take the time to like, subscribe, and comment. Each one of those things greatly helps out the channel. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies, heck, tell your friends, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.